So, part three is what can we do about it? Have we spotted that we're saying to ourselves, I'm not ready to do this thing, I really want to do this thing. But, and they're also, like the one that you said, is when we're in the spiral, they're really great for getting you out of them, because when we say something, it stops us listening to our brain. Yeah. And then the last one, I would say, is your community. Oh, so not it could be going and finding a community, but it's checking the people who are in your inner circle are your cheerleaders, because it doesn't take many people to plant seeds of doubt. So part three is what can we do about it? Have we spotted that we're saying to ourselves, I'm not ready to do this thing, I really want to do this thing, but I'm not ready. What can we do about it? So we need to reframe the idea of readiness.
Yes.
Because readiness is not a feeling, it's a decision.
It's a choice. It is really. And I only discovered this last week, guys. So, we're all human. We all go through this. But you cannot, and I repeat that, I said this at the start, but I'll repeat it again. You cannot be ready unless you actually take action. Because you cannot sit there and just wish to be ready. You actually either have to do the inner work, you both have to do the inner work and go through the fear and take the little bit of action. That's where the confidence comes from.
Yeah, absolutely. So confidence is built after repetition. So you have to take the step. You can't, it's like gaining experience. Without doing it, you can't gain the experience. So we can't wait for experience. We have to do the thing. And we have to accept that it's probably not going to be perfect. If you've been doing it for years and planned it in the finest detail, it might still not be perfect. So we don't aim for perfect. We just aim for our best shot. And then we are reflective about what the outcome. We let go of the outcome, and whatever it is, we are reflective and take the lessons that we can from it. And it's knowing that your body will often feel fear in a response to growth, because growth is about challenging yourself. So it's natural to have pangs of fear, like we have been talking about recently. It's like we got the pang, but it's knowing, not letting that consume you. It's okay to have a pang of fear, but it's knowing that it shouldn't stop you unless it's actually dangerous. If you get
fear is a choice.
Yeah.
It is. You're fearing something that may never happen. It's not happening in this moment, and it may never happen. And oftentimes our fears are based on something that's occurred in the past. The past won't repeat itself if we don't allow it to repeat. You know what I mean? It's just not. We've evolved, we've grown, and we've changed. We're not the same person that has lived in our past, so we cannot actually effectively ever repeat the past. So we're fearing something that cannot possibly happen. We can create these scenarios if we continue to worry. But if you just remove that fear and choose to be optimistic and excited, and you ask yourself that as well, is this anxiety or is it excitement mixed with a little bit of trepidation? Because oftentimes we're just a little bit excited.
Yeah. Well, it's a very similar feeling, isn't it? It's just what you label it. And I think when we're an anxious person, we just always label it as anxiety or fear, and we can label it. And I know it sounds silly. Oh, let's just say I'm excited. I know it sounds silly, but it is something that we build upon, isn't it? And it's knowing, it's being curious when we get the fear. So allowing yourself to feel that moment of fear. Don't sit in it for ages, but recognize where you're feeling the fear. That gives you some time to honor the fear without getting stuck in the pattern. So it's like, oh, I'm feeling fear. Where is it? I've noticed that my hands have clenched. My jaw might be clenched. I might be short of breath. I might be sweating. It's labeling it. I'm feeling fear. I can feel it in this place of my body. And then going on to be curious about it. Where's it coming from? Is it because this is something similar to a past experience, or
the way I was describing it was dissect the fear. And you're literally explaining that. And that's the word I use for it, is you're dissecting the fear. Break it up into tiny little pieces. And then these smaller pieces will actually be easier to evaluate. And you're like, no, let's just throw that one away, throw that one away, throw that one away. So you kind of just make the fears smaller and actually open them up to see if they're actually logical.
Yeah, and if it's really powerful, if you're really, you know, in a moment of real anxiety or panic attack, that doing things like breathing and self-soothing, things like that, can really help. I'm going to look at some ways, because what we need is courage. So I'm going to look at some of the ways, things that we often talk about, but ways to build courage, because you do need a bit of courage. It's no good just saying, oh, be courageous. So we will talk about that in a minute. But it's recognizing that when we're on a growth journey, when we're growing, or when we're doing something different, it's okay to have a pang of fear or doubt. You know, that is normal. It means you're healthy. Well done. You know, but it's reasoning whether that doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. That just means this is me growing, or this is me doing something different. Yeah. So, small courageous steps is what we recommend doing. So choose an area to stretch and take action. So know yourself, do a bit of introspection. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Know which area. Say you want to be, you want a leadership role, perhaps. It's a small step. So what's a small step? Well, maybe I could just apply. And it doesn't have to be at your own school. It could just be at a completely different school. And you don't have to accept an interview, and you don't have to accept the job, you know, or even the first step for you might be actually looking at job roles, you know. So it's making a small step. It's like when people have a phobia, isn't it? Like the way that they treat phobias is, it's like, how much of that thing you're fearful of can you tolerate at one time? Do that. And then keep doing that until that's comfortable, and then stretch it a bit further. So it's taking a courageous step. So choose a step, write it down, say it out loud, and don't wait for readiness. So notice if you're saying that and reframe it. Remember, readiness is not a feeling, it is a choice. So you can choose to be ready. You can choosing to be ready for a next step. That's the way to look at it. So how can we build that courage? So I've got 5 ways that we can build courage. And the first one, can you guess it?
Meditation.
Yay! Yeah, meditation.
It's the miracle cure.
Yeah, absolutely. So we highly recommend, we always talk about meditation. Meditation. So it's great. I've also got affirmations on there. So you can use affirmations. That number 2 is affirmations. But even just not doing affirmations, but having a time of peace in meditation, it gives you such clarity. So it helps you organize your thoughts. It's got a pathway to your subconscious. So sometimes you get answers to questions you weren't even asking. And you can actually just lay and ask, you know, you can say, what's my next step? And then just be in the peace. And often that you will get some image or some idea that will help you have confidence, because the fact that it was almost gifted to you in meditation, or I feel like this, it gives me confidence that that's what I should be doing. It's my inner guidance. So I'm like, that's what I should be doing. Yeah. And it quietens down the chatter. So if you're somebody who might have anxiety or negative self-talk, or often get in spirals, it's a really nice place to be away from the spiral, to give you some peace and reset. So meditation is great. Affirmations are wonderful. So affirmations, do you want to tell us what an affirmation is?
Yeah, so I love these in the moment, because there is times that I would go through a spiral or a bit of an anxiety spiral. And, you know, even when I get anxiety attacks before, in the moment, it was just like, it's just something repetitive. So I used to say, I am safe, I am healthy, I am protected. And I just repeat it over and over again. I am safe, I am healthy, I am protected. Or I am happy and I am healthy and I am abundant. Just repeat something over and over in your mind, you know, especially if you're in a spiral, and just to distract your mind. But if you continue to speak to your subconscious mind in this way, it will eventually have no other choice but to believe it. Because no matter how you speak to yourself, your unconscious mind is going to believe it. So if you speak low to yourself or speak ill about yourself, your unconscious mind is going to believe that and then embody it. So if you speak highly of yourself and say these mantras or affirmations, your unconscious mind will eventually believe it. So if you don't even believe it in the first place, you will eventually, you know, brainwash yourself into believing it.
Yeah. So it's, if you realize that you have a belief, so maybe it's I'm not ready yet, let's take it as simply as that. So then you change it to starting I am, that the power of I am, and then you say the opposite of what your current belief is or problem, you know. So you would say I am ready to blah blah, whatever it is, and you say it several times, and you say it every day, and you can say the I mean, saying it at any time is better than not saying that. What we don't realize is our subconscious is listening to us all the time. And so even when we curse ourselves for doing silly things, it's listening to us, you know. So we have to be mindful of the words that we use around ourselves. Yeah, so saying affirmations at any time is a great thing, but the best time is just before going to sleep when you're really settled, or just when you wake up. That's a great time. When you just wake up, you're in the right brain state for your subconscious to be really impressionable. And it might sound silly at first, because you might not, because you won't believe it, you know. This is the opposite of what I believe, but just persist with it, because eventually your subconscious gets on board with you, and then you do start to believe it, and then you start acting in a way that gives you evidence that you can do that thing, and it becomes self-fulfilling. Yeah. So, and in meditation is a great time. So binaural beats meditations are really great for getting you in that same state you are when you just wake up. So you can spend long periods saying affirmations to yourself if you wanted to. You could spend 40 minutes saying it over and over again if you wanted to, or other affirmations in different areas of your life. So affirmations are great. And they're also, like the one that you said, is when we're in the spiral, they're really great for getting you out of them, because when we say something, it stops us listening to our brain. So if you say it over and over and over again, then it's like ignoring the chatter, and then you can start to feel better and reset. Along with that is journaling. So I'm not a journaler, you're not a journaler. We speak to ourselves, but if you're not used to the growth journey and the kinds of things to say, then you can get beautiful journals with really great prompts for all different. You can get ones on self-awareness, you can get ones on well-being or self-care, you know, ones on specific areas, or you could just get a notebook and start writing your affirmations in there and your goals in there.
Yeah, and I know there's a gratitude journal. So, like, you know, when you actually write down things you're grateful for in the moment, that can actually, you know, create a frequency to bring in more to be grateful for. But also saying things that you're grateful for. So, like, if you want to get out of your comfort zone, thank you for my new adventure. Thank you for my ability to do this. Thank you for my readiness. Saying the things that you want to do.
For my courage.
Yeah, your courage. If you say them as if it's already happened, it's like the affirmations, but you're actually writing it in a gratitude journal. It's amazing how, like, I've done that, you know, before I achieved certain things. I look back on my old gratitude journals and I was like, oh my God, I wrote that when I had nothing. I didn't, it was only a dream. And then I got the thing that I wrote, like, because I literally manifested because I wrote it as if I already had it. So that is a really good way of manifesting your new reality, is by saying thank you as if it's already happening.
Yeah, definitely. And gratitude is a practice that we should all be doing anyway, because it increases your immunity, it reduces stress, and it rewires your brain to to see more positive things in your life. So it's really,
That's what I do in the morning before I go on my phone or anything like that. It's like literally my first thing to do is I open my eyes and I will say my list of things that I'm grateful for before I get out of bed.
Yeah, and we can think about things like our basic needs being met. We can think about the loves, the people or animals, the love that we have in our life. We can think about things in our career or job or personal life that we're grateful for. But we should also show gratitude to ourselves as well, because we have qualities and strengths that other people wish they have. Guaranteed you, everybody will have a strength that other people look at on with envy. You know, so we should be grateful for who we are, and it's a really great way to build your self-worth if you're showing gratitude for who you are. Yeah, so journaling's a really great one. That's number 3. Number 4 is inner healing. So I'm not going to talk lots about inner healing. Some ways to heal is I would recommend getting a coach, just like Angela. She's an amazing coach, and I can do inner healing with people, and there's lots of great coaches out there. If you can't afford a coach, we've also got lots of mindset lives that we've done on each of the different areas of the core wounds, with lots of tips and advice on how to do that. But in a nutshell, it's reparenting your inner child and getting in touch with the younger you.
Exactly. Deep introspection, discovering what your wounds are, uncovering that trauma so that you can release it once and for all. Doing that meditation, doing that inner work, doing that self-awareness. That's all it is. It's getting to know who you truly are and releasing the stuff that keeps you stuck in the past.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then the last one I would say is your community. So not it could be going and finding a community, but it's checking the people who are in your inner circle are your cheerleaders, because it doesn't take many people to plant seeds of doubt. So it's
like you're Jim Rohn says, I think it's Jim Rohn, you're the average of the 5 people you spend time with. So if you're evolving, if you're growing, if you're doing the inner work, if you want to jump out your comfort zone, check the people around you. Are they doing the same shit that they've always fucking done? Are they still literally living that life on that hamster wheel, literally going nowhere, partying the same pub every weekend, doing the same things and not actually expanding their minds or their bodies or their souls? Then you kind of need to ask yourself, are these my right people? And you can find, like, oftentimes, especially I suppose in Ireland, we're very set in our ways, and it's very hard for us to get out of that environment. So if you're not seeing the people in your environment physically, find the people online. You know what I mean? We can find the people that are growing with you, find the right mentors, all of these things. Find the people who want to jump out of the comfort zone with you.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it's rubbing shoulders with people who are on the same journey or already ahead of you, because it rubs off on you, doesn't it?
Really does.
Yeah. So community is a great thing. And if you say you don't know anybody that does the thing that you're aspiring to do, there's loads of Facebook communities or courses that are linked, that have communities linked, that you can get into. So it's exploring where you can get your positive influences from, and your guidance and your cheerleaders. Yeah. So community. So meditation, affirmations, journaling, inner healing, and community. And then choose one of them, because that's a lot. Choose one, the one that you think would be easiest to fit into your life. I would personally say start with meditation if you can. But if meditation, you're like, oh no, that don't fancy that, then trying one of the other things will definitely help. And then it is taking that step. You just have to build the courage and be courageous and step out of your comfort zone, because you'll feel so much better when you have. It's a bit like you know, when, how many times do you get up? Well, I don't so much these days, but when I'm thinking, oh, I've got this thing to do, and then I'm putting it off, and I'm like, oh, it's like doing the dishes. I hate washing up, so I'm like, oh, it'll take me ages, and I spend more time thinking that I should be doing that thing, but I don't want to do it, and it's going to be awful, and it's going to take so long, and it's going to be so painful, and causing pain. And then when I finally get around to doing it, it takes nowhere near the same amount of time.
Reframe
And
it,
I'm like,
girl.
wow, I wish I'd done that an hour ago and not
Yeah.
caused myself so much pain.
But reframe it. Don't think of it as a chore. Like, I used to hate doing the dishes. You know, I never liked it. Where you can actually make a therapeutic, meditative process out of doing the dishes.
Yeah.
The warm water, you know, just get into that's it. Or even listen to a podcast where you're doing it, whatever. Go into silence. Just get into this relaxed state. And, you know, it's not really an effort when you've got a tidy kitchen afterwards. Like, that's the way I see it. Because I know what it's like to have depression, and literally let the things pile up, and then you're more depressed because you're not doing it, and then you're too depressed to do it, and then when you finally do it,
not looking at it,
and you finally do it, and you feel you feel so good. And like now I have a system where, you know, I only do the dishes once a day, you know what I mean, after my dinner. So like, you know, I might have a couple of cups, or you know, from the morning or from the night before, with the bowls and cups, but it's not that much. So I just do one big wash a day, so I'm not like, you know, overexerting myself. Unless I do a bit of bacon or something, I do an extra wash. But the way I see it is, I have a tidy kitchen afterwards. I was never that kind of a tidy person. I was always that kind of cluttered person. But now I've reframed the dishes. Instead of it being a chore, it's like this cleansing process. You know, the water is warm, it's meditative, and then the kitchen is tidy, and I can sit down and relax, and I don't mind. You know, it's about reframing anything. We can reframe anything from the negative into the positive. But it is that procrastination or that over anxiety that we go into. It's like, oh no. It's like, no, maybe yes.
We create our own pain by avoiding things, don't we? We really do. Right, it is 7:05.
Oh wow, we didn't really.
I know, we did much better today.
Yeah.
So to finish, join Teacher Mindset Matters. It's our free Facebook group for teachers and school support staff. We have a team of coaches in there from different fields of personal growth and self-development, and myself and Angela are in there, and it's just full of inspirational quotes and information and tips and all sorts in there. You can post anonymously, so you can ask us a question or tell us a problem, and we can try and support you in your blocks or whatever, or just tell us your successes, because we love to cheer people on. So do join. It's Teacher Mindset Matters on Facebook. We're the only one. And I'll see you next week.
See you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.